All right, so I gave y'all my top spring fragrances, but I had more videos and I kept saying more fragrances, and I'm like, this is getting kind of long, and I don't know if y'all were gonna stay there for that long. So you know what? I said, self, do a part 2. So come back. We're gonna talk about the other 7,000 fragrances that I think will work well in the springtime. We're still in spring, so you got options. I'm giving you options. But come back and we'll talk more about it. But you gotta come back. Come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video of Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. You know, you already know. You know what it is. Do what you gotta do. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, the whole 9. Let's get right into it. So again, as I mentioned in the intro, there's a couple of fragrances that I wound up leaving out. I did record some of them, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just do a part 2. So here's a couple of fragrances that I'm enjoying wearing right now. Here in New York, 1 minute it's 60 degrees, the next is 75 degrees. So I'm literally alternating with the fragrances I think works well when it's even warmer out, or if it's cool. But here are some of the things that I've been rocking with, and I think y'all gonna rock with that too. So yeah, let's get right into it. So first up, we have from House of Sillage. This is actually from their Looney Tunes limited edition collection, Bugs Bunny. I see a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, I don't want to over exaggerate, but the people that have this collection, I noticed they have gravitated to Tweety. And I won't get too much into how I came across it because I want to do a dedicated review, but out of the two, I felt like Bugs Bunny was more my zhuzh. I smelled it, and I'm starting to realize I think raspberry might be another note that's becoming one of my favorites, because anytime I smell raspberry in something, I'm instantly intrigued, although I don't really like the fruit itself. Weird. Anyway, but yeah, oh man, that smells really, really, really good. And this just reminded me, look, first of all, look at the bottle, right? It's green. Spring, that color, it reminds me of this time of the year. And just, it gives, the bottle already gives spring vibes. So when you smell it, the raspberry is fruity. It gives me grassy vibes. I forget some of the notes in it, but it definitely smells like freshly cut grass. But it's giving off the sweetness of raspberry and whipped cream. I think it's beautiful for this time of the year, so you definitely should check it out. It's on sale right now. That's House of Sillage, Bugs Bunny. Next up on my list, we have Valentino Born in Roma Stravaganza. I love this. First of all, I love Valentino Born in Roma anyway. I know it has a gazillion and one flankers, but and I'm not the person, I've mentioned this, I'm not the person that's going to buy every single flanker, but it looks like I have a decent amount of the flankers that were released from here. But man, oh my God, this is spring. This is spring in a bottle. Again, similar to the House of Sillage bottle that I just showed you, the green. It gives spring vibes. So this, obviously the same thing. There's only, I believe, only 3 notes. Some type of tea note, and then it dries down to a vanilla. It has that Born in Roma DNA, but it's different enough where you can, it's not the same, and definitely works for this time of the year. If you love Born in Roma, you love that DNA, that scent profile, you have to check this out. You're gonna love this. Next up on my list, we have BDK's Passé Soir. I mentioned this early in the year, or what, I think it was in December actually, that this was a fragrance I knew I wanted for the springtime. When I had smelled it, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be amazing in warm weather. And I had to get up on it, and I did. I think it's beautiful. It's bright. It's a little peppery, but still it's juicy. It's sweet. It has orange blossom, and that's another one of my favorite fragrances. So that already, one of my favorite notes, excuse me. So that already had me sold. it just, and not only it's a fragrance that'll work in the springtime, it definitely will work in the summertime. So you can wear this for quite a few months, and oh my God, you're gonna absolutely love. So if you haven't already, definitely check out BDK's Passe Soir. Next up on my list, we have a fragrance and a slight background. So if you're familiar with Kayali, you know this house is geared towards women. Again, that doesn't mean men can't rock it, but it just seems like a lot of the fragrances are more on the feminine side. So last year when Mona dropped the wedding, her wedding fragrances, she did a collab with her husband and released a limited edition of, well, I think it was Silk Santal and then Velvet Santal. And again, like as I mentioned, Kayali, I feel, caters more to women or more on the feminine side. So that fragrance, the silk one, sold out, and then it restocked. But I think very briefly, or what have you, and it was gone, and we haven't seen it since. But Velvet Santal has just been sitting there, and I wanted to get up in on that. I was intrigued by both fragrances, hoping that maybe she'd eventually restock the other one. Kayali would restock it, but they haven't, so who knows. But I got the Velvet Santal just so if and when they restocked it, I can have it, because of the layering combo that I hear is absolutely amazing. But I wound up dabbling with this on its own and actually pairing it with the body mist, fragrance mist from Bath and Body Works, and a couple of other things I've been layering it with, and I love this fragrance. And it became more and more of a reach for me the past few weeks, and I'm like, yo, this is slept on so hard. It's still on the website, but it's so good. It's the sandalwood is just so creamy. It layers well with other fragrances, and I smell it on my clothes throughout the day. So listen, if you're watching this video and you got the Silk Santal version, the white version, do yourself a favor and pick up the Velvet Santal. I'm telling you, it's not masculine. It's just creamy, and it smells so good, and it definitely works for this time of the year. Check it out. Kayali's The Wedding Velvet Santal. Lastly on my list, we have actually two. I'm doing it both at the same time because one is a dupe for the other. So you decide if you want both or one or the other. But we have Parfum de Marly's Oriana and Lattafa's Ansaam Gold. Ansaam Gold is an absolute dupe for Parfum de Marly's Oriana. It's orange blossom goodness. Those of us that know that this was their answer to Killian's Love Don't Be Shy. That's not a dupe, but it's, I guess, because of the orange blossom and the sweetness, the marshmallow, it might be considered like a dupe, but it's not. This opens up citrusy and then dries down to the orange blossom and that sweet goodness, where this does the exact same thing, and it's literally more than half the cost of this. So if you don't want to spend $300 some odd, I know we can find this on a discount, you know, for like $100 or so cheaper on multiple websites. This is only like $40 or so. So definitely check this out. I think this is perfect for this time of the year, especially when it's cool and when it warms up. Definitely try this out this time of the year. And that is Parfum de Marly's Oriana and Lattafa's Ansaam Gold. And that was my video. That was part 2 of my top spring fragrances. Let me know what you think. Is there anything that I'm missing? Like I always mention, let me know in the comments. Go ahead and like, subscribe also. And always remember, the best compliment one could get is that you smell so good.